more complex because you can. If that means taking weight down, certainly, or making them less complex if you feel like you just didn't sleep or you had a long weekend or whatever else. So we'll make it whatever we need to make it today. There are 3 parts today. We'll see what we get through. We have our typical, I say, primer, starter, if you will. I think it's like a menu. We have 3 times through. There are a lot of fancy words. It's not as fancy as it sounds, but 5 oblique reverse lunges, 1 leg balance. So that's per leg. I'll talk about what that looks like. And 10 glute bridge holds with a floor press. So if you have a single weight, it's 10 per side. If you have 2 weights, it's 20 alternating. So doesn't matter which one you choose. A glute bridge hold is fine if shoulders are out of commission. And then we have, sorry, Maxine, can you see this? The chat, should I post it again? I forget. Sometimes Zoom is funny. I can repost it. And I'll repost it.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay,
Thank
great.
you.
I think sometimes when
Now I see it.
I think it's like if you join later, I don't know, whatever, I'm happy to repost it. No problem.
Yeah.
So the part B or second portion is 4 times through 12 goblet squats, 10 push-ups with a plank pull through, and then 8 ipsilateral, just same sided dead bugs per side. So it should take 10 minutes or less. And again, we've done most of these before. They're just fancy words. And then we're going to finish off with a little ab finisher. 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest. So I guess 3 times each, excuse me, 6 times total. V up, V sit lift offs, and a side plank knee tuck. And I'll again go over, again, we're just adding on to things we already know. So it sounds fancy, but you know this stuff already. Before we move on, shoulders, knees, ankles, hips, good. Look at you, Maxine.
So shoulder's still a little iffy, so I'm just gonna
Adjust
really, yeah.
And as we go into each thing and we kind of break down the movement, I feel like, oh, I can do a plank hold, or I could do this, and then you can feel free to adjust. If you need my input, want suggestions, I'm happy to help. But you seem like you're pretty good at taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
But don't feel like you have to.
Figure it out.
Great.
Thanks, Kirstie.
You're very welcome. Friends, let's start with our cat cows, our usual. Just get ourselves out of sleep, but certainly not falling back asleep. I'm not sure Reese is going to make it.
Sorry. I'm going to mute myself now. Sorry, I didn't mean for that.
No, I like the candor. I like the candor. Look, I'm tired too. It's okay. It's, it's 6:10. It's okay to be tired. There's 10 at house. After 10 reps of child's pose is a good idea. Definitely for me today. I'm gonna see the child's pose after 10 because why not? I know we're kind of leaning into Joseph territory here, but that's okay. We're going to come out of that child's pose and then drop the hips. Let the chest come up to your butt squeezed. If supporting the shoulder feels okay. There you go. We take a break from that position if we need to. Right. Next step is going to be our bird dogs, which we do pretty regularly at this point. So we're going to extend an arm and a leg. If you want to add some complexity, you can bring that right knee, your knee to your elbow and your elbow to your knee. Not across necessarily, although you can. We'll stay on the same side. Adding some flexion or bending of the spine. If you want to go opposites, you can. Okay. We're going to keep our floor work going. So while we're on the floor, we're going to lay on our back. We're going to do our 10 glute bridges. That's where feet are planted. Back is flat. Squeeze your butt to lift your hips. Hands can do whatever they need to do here. That's fine. Butt squeeze, lift the hips. Doing 10 reps. If you're tight in the quads, that's okay. Just go as far as that butt squeeze will permit, or your quads will allow. So don't go past what feels like a bad idea. Okay, more just a general warm up. Okay. From here, let's take a seated position. We're doing 90-90s as a reminder. Right. You can lean back, you want to lean back. Feet are shoulder-ish width. You can go wider if you want to go wider. Drop the hips off, the legs off to one side. Position to the other side. Doing 10 of these. Like I said, you can make these harder if you're feeling particularly flexible this morning by sitting up vertically, so a little more vertical on that setup, or widening out your feet. I'm definitely not there yet, but that's just an option. Next thing we have are going to start our shoulder warm up. So I'm going to kneel for this. You can stand, but we're going to get our shoulder warm up. So this is our T shape, right? And just gently use standing if that's better. You can take this down to one limb. That's fine. 10 rotations. Keeping your thumbs up. You can rest between sides or directions. Right. Rest if you need to, and then back to a thumbs up. Let's go opposite direction. So opposite direction of what you started with. Again, pain-free, challenging is fine. I feel every hour of every bike that I did this weekend. Holy cow. Okay. That's really a little rough. I saw you this weekend, Joseph. You said, I don't know where I saw you.
Yes.
You saw me, more accurate. Let's go forward and back. Where'd you go? Or where were you coming from?
I'm trying to remember. What did I see you? What day did I see you? Was that Sunday or yesterday?
Sunday, I think.
Sunday. What did I do Sunday? I'm trying to remember.
You were on the path. I don't know where you were going or where you're coming from. But go across.
I went somewhere north.
Somewhere north, yeah.
I don't even remember.
Obviously. Somewhere
north.
north.
Sunday I went to I rode to Tam just for swim.
Oh, for swim, got it. I saw JD too, but he was already in Arrow and very like.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not gonna I'm just gonna let you go. I'll say hi later. I'm not gonna interrupt that. Last little piece here, thumbs down. Yeah, I did East Peak again, finally. Not as bad when you're actually fueled properly. I mean, it's still East Peak, but you know. There's actually a view this time, so that was nice. I was like, oh, that's what people came to see. Last time it was foggy, and I was like, that's heavily disappointing. So I'm in the game of finding elevation. I need to find like many climbs as possible. And Labor Day weekend traffic was not worth the repeats, right? Going back up. So I decided to cut my elevation short this weekend, but non-holiday weekends riding will be easier. Okay, so let's talk about kind of what we're doing here. Where am I here? Sorry. I'm gonna pull this over. Where did the chat go? My little chat function went away. Not for you guys. But oh, there it is. I just minimized the screen too much. So we have our reverse lunges. We're gonna stand one side, so non-alternating, doing 5 per side. And the way we carry the weight today is going to be specific. So it's going to be an oblique reverse lunge or oblique to reverse lunge, whatever. So your oblique is this little side guy. Okay, this is your oblique. And so what we're going to do is just do a slight little lean to the side, like a little sideways lean. Now, when I'm doing this, I'm not leaning forward. I'm not leaning backwards, right? So I'm not going forwards and I'm not going backwards. So when I'm leaning to the side, I'm just leaning to the side. So I feel like I'm doing like a little side crunch. That's all I feel, right? It's not a big movement. It doesn't need to be. And then the reverse lunge itself is exactly what it sounds like. You're doing a reverse lunge. So let's kind of do this one piece at a time. Let's grab a weight, okay, in hand. And we'll start standing here. So I'll show you from the top down first. So I'm standing up. Okay, now you can't see my weights right here. So my right hand, I'm gonna lean to my right. So I'm standing up tall. I'm braced, so core's nice tight. I'm just gonna gently lean to the side of the weight's on, and then come back up. Side's on, come back up. We're doing 3 per side. Okay. So just a little bit, so you feel like doing a little bit of side crunch. All right, you feel this side stretch, this side compresses. We'll switch sides. Okay. So roll to the side. This side. Back up. So we're just feeling out the range of motion. Again, not very big, right? Should not be causing any pain at all. You can take a break once you've done 3 per side. The reverse lunge. Before we start to add weight to our reverse lunge, let's just make sure we have reverse lunges, period. It is early. We need to find our balance. So again, 3 per side. I'll go feet down now, or hips at an angle. So about shoulder hip width apart, stepping back. Right, back knee touch the ground. Doesn't have to. It can. 3, so non-alternating, 3 per side. Then we're gonna switch, plant, lunge. So we'll go unweighted first, and then we'll put these two things together. And it's okay to find your balance before you do anything else. So how do we put these things together? We're basically going to do a little side bend, if you will, into a reverse lunge. Okay. I'll try and show the full thing. I know it's kind of hard with this angle here, but I'll do my best. So in this case, you're going to hold the weight on the leg you're lunging with. Okay. I'm lunging with my right, get to my right hand. So I'm going to go ahead. I am standing, right? I'm going to do a side bend, like, sorry, can't remember, hold on, overthink this. Side bend, think of side bend, reverse lunge, come back, knee raise, side bend, reverse lunge, knee raise. So the leg balance is this part, right? My leg is up while I'm bending to the side. If that's too much, keep it down instead. That's totally fine. We're still gonna do a reverse lunge either way. So have you do 5 reps per leg. This is going to count as your first round. We'll go over second movement in a moment. And again, if you need to, go ahead. So if your weight's lighter, go ahead and lift the opposite leg that your weight is in while you're bending to the side. So you're standing on one foot. Yeah, there you go. And you can go into that lunge. Find your balance. There it is. It's okay to find that foot, planting your foot first prior to bending the knee to lunge. It's almost, it's forgiving analogies. Like I'm a little teapot. You're just kind of just gently leaning to one side. And just like anything else, having a side that's easier to balance on is pretty standard. And 5%. Lovely. Nice. There we go. Nice. It's good to find your balance first. If it helps, Arisa, go and put your foot down like together, then step your foot back. The step back without the foot down is not always a requirement. It just makes it harder. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so our next movement, we're finishing off one side. That's okay. You're going to be on your back next, right? So you can watch and then do if you like. So I'll show you both. We have 2 weights versus 1. Doesn't really matter, just difference on how you do this. So I'm going to start with 2. I have my 2 dumbbells here. It's okay to have a different weight than your deadlift if you have the option. And we have basically a floor press with a glute bridge raise. So a floor press, right? We've done these before, I believe, but as a reminder, we're going to be on our back. Okay. Dumbbells are over the shoulder. So floor press, shoulder blades are back, right? Just a nice posture here. I have a little gap between here, my low back here. As long as it's your natural lumbar curve, it's fine. If you do like to hollow this out or tuck the pelvis to feel safer, that's fine. But we're not doing this. We're not letting the rib cage flare up a huge amount. Okay. And then from here, I'm going to go ahead. And if I'm doing this with 2, I'm going to go ahead and keep my knuckles up, touch my elbows to the ground, press back up. My shoulder blades stay together. So I'm not letting my shoulders round forward. Right. If I have 1 weight, right, I'm going to go ahead. So if I have 2, I'm going to go ahead and alternate. Excuse me. I'm going to alternate. All right. 20 total. So I get to 20. If I have 1 dumbbell at my disposal, I want to do 1 at a time. Feel like this hand holding up here, that's fine. 10 reps, and then you switch. Okay. The glute bridge part is the part where we squeeze your butt. Left hips are holding this position. So whether you have this or whether you're alternating, this is the position you're holding while doing it. All right. If you have any questions about that, feel free to ask. But otherwise, let's go ahead and do it. Glute bridge, and even if you can hold a weight, Maxine, just you don't have to do anything with that weight. Okay. I'm going to let you kind of decide. Okay. Okay, so we're doing 10 per side. So if you have 2 weights, the resting, I'll put this in quotations, resting position is with your arms locked out, meaning elbows straight. So imagine like you're doing a push-up. So I want your default position, Arisa and Joseph, to be arms straight. Then we're moving from this position. Right? So the elbows don't rest at the bottom. The elbows are locked out. So keep your arms straight, Arisa. Good. And the arm you're going to move can bend. We're alternating. Yeah, there we go. Keeping the upper back nice and squeezed together. So imagine trying to squeeze a quarter between your shoulder blades. There you go. Once you've done 10 per side, if you have a single weight, 20 alternating, you may go back to your reverse lunges. I'm happy to review those again if that's helpful. That's a lot of extra steps today. There you go. So I'll mention this just because I think it's valid. Yeah, so you can bring the foot down. You're doing great, Arisa. Yeah, so as you are doing your lunge, you go from your standing oblique. So I know I don't have weight here, but I do my little lean. And instead of having to have lunge into something without putting the foot down, it's okay to put your foot down on the ground and then step back. Especially if balance is a factor. For anyone who's feeling particularly confident, just go ahead and step back without touching the ground in the first place. Okay. So you're kind of skipping that feet together position, basically. So the side bend can be that little oblique side bend. If it's not making sense or it's causing back pain, we could just stick with a single leg balance, just holding yourself upright. Good. Yeah. A little wobble here and there is fine. Use a little common sense too with that. Followed by your glute bridge hold and floor press. Nice job. And just to be clear, those lunges, your knee does not need to touch the ground. It can, but it's not required. So hold the glute bridge while doing the floor press. So you're just going to hold that. Glute bridge is an isometric hold, meaning you're not going up and down, like you're doing it for reps. Start with your arms straight, Arisa, both of them. And then you bend, yeah, good. So it's more of a motor control drill, good. So you're pressing up while the other arm is going down. Bit of a brain teaser, nice. There you go. I have some new movements today, so if you do have questions as you're doing them, it's okay to ask. Seriously, trying to keep your chest up when you're lunging. Everything else looking great. Chest up when you lunge. Yeah, that's it. Nice. All right, last, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. I think this is your last round. Oops, excuse me, that's my teeth. Last round. It's okay if some of you are a little faster than others.
I completely lost count. So
I
whenever.
think we're on round 3, Arisa.
Okay,
I
thank you.
think this is going to be last set of the floor press, and then I think you're done. Yeah. If not, we're going to stop after this regardless. Don't worry, we'll let you go on forever on this.
All right, I was able to do those floor
That's
press.
great.
And there's lighter weight, but I could do it.
The nice thing about the floor press is the range of motion is set, right? Like it's the floor.
Yeah.
Whereas on a bench, we'd have to kind of like, ooh, you have to control that, which
Yeah.
with the shoulder injury is good, but more advanced. And
Right.
it can encourage like this position on the shoulder,
Mhm.
which is much more stable, right? So now we're pressing stable joint versus like, wow. So you have a lot
Right.
more feedback on the floor.
Mhm.
And if you can't make it, you just bring the hand down.
Yeah.
Right. So like there's a lot, I use this one a lot for post shoulder stuff. And a lot of people are afraid of a bench where like, I don't know where to stop. I don't know what my shoulder's doing. I can't, I don't have control of my upper body in that way. So
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of a bench, but sometimes A, we don't have one. And B, the shoulders, like, I don't know how to control this range of motion yet. So the
Mhm.
floor is what it is. Arisa, you can go ahead and stop. You're doing bonus work unless you want to do bonus work. I am not opposed. Just letting you know in case it's on purpose. So yeah, I'm glad the floor press feels good. It's usually pretty stable once you get it in. It's hard to get in position, but once you get the weights to where they need to be, it's good. So a lot, I know we're adding a few little pieces to our normal movements like lunges and glute bridges. But it's a way to kind of get a little more bang for your buck. So part B, I think, is a little more, I would say, traditional, normal things you've already seen. Our goblet squat, I think at this point, we all know what that is, but that's a 2-footed squat with a weight. If you don't want to carry weight, go ahead and do, you can do just air squats or body weight. The push-up plank pull-throughs, this one obviously might have to adjust Maxine, but that's fine.
Mhm.
Again, kettlebell or dumbbell, I want that weight behind the wrist on the push-up. Adjusting your push-up, however you need to adjust it. And then we can go from the knees, knee to knees. We can go from here. We're gonna do our push-up first, right? And then opposite. So it's behind my right wrist, left hand reaches across. That's 1. Push up, reach across. 2. You need to come down, of course, come down. You do not need to do all. I have 10 written here. You do not need to do that. I say unbroken or without taking a break. Just complete 10 total prior to moving on. Our dead bugs. Okay, this is one where instead of having opposites, we're going same side. So essentially, again, on the ground again. Back flat. Make sure this gap is either minimal or you can, again, tuck this under if you want. I'm in my dead bug shape, hence the name. So instead of going opposites, which we've done before, I'm going to take my right hand, put it against my right knee just to hold it in place. I'm not doing anything else. This side, my right side is going to then, start to move. So this is activated because I'm holding position, not pushing necessarily. I'm just making sure this doesn't come forward. And then I'm going to do 8 per side, breathing as I go down. Exhaling, contracting as I come back. Right? Again, trying not to change my rib cage position, but I do so. So the only difference from what we've done before is we're explicitly doing same-sided instead of opposite. Does that make sense? Okay, let's grab our weights for our goblet squats. If you like a front squat, you can go 2 lighter weights on the shoulders. We are doing 4 rounds of this. Maybe, we'll see. I think about 4 should be good. 12 reps on those goblet squats. So squatting down, standing up 12 times. Yep, beautiful. And if you're doing the 2 dumbbells, you can hold them. Yeah, just kind of. I like to rest the head of the dumbbell on my shoulder when I do this. You can do the crossbar. The crossbar gets a little bit tough with getting them off personally, so I prefer to hold it here. But if you get bored, Joseph, you can go mixed grip. 1 hand overhead, one. Some people need more, like I find some people need more stuff. It's like, okay, great, this is too easy. I'll go ahead and squat like this. Ways to make things interesting. Yeah. Nice. And feel free to adjust the volume, Maxine, for the PT stuff. So you can do the total.
Yeah, I can set up with that. Yeah, I'm just gonna do these.
Yeah, but you feel free. Don't feel like you have to exceed the amount that your PT would
Okay.
say.
Got it.
Yeah, even if we're doing, 3 sets of 10, just do 3 sets of 10 instead of 4. Yeah. Yeah. Nice. So with the dead bugs, yep, beautiful. The goal here is to keep either low back, I would say close to the ground, or your natural curve of the back. And as a reminder, right, if it helps, this is just to help. I like this cue. It's not required. You can go same sided, right, without touching, but this knee for me tends to be a little bit comes in for me. So this side, by holding, just touching this knee, not doing much with it, it engages my opposite side. So I'm not forgetting to work with it. That's all. You can kick the leg out, knee dead bug. I just don't. That's just not my particular style. Okay. Breathing down. Exhaling as you're pulling everything in. If done correctly, should be difficult. There's no need to lift the head for the dead bug, which is nice. So you're laying completely flat on the ground. Once you've done round 1, you can move yourself into round 2, right? I know we're a little bit staggered. That's okay. So we're back to our goblet squats. So forgive me, the rep scheme I should have mentioned. 4 times through, 12 goblet squats, 10 push-ups with a plank pull through. So an object, does not need to be a dumbbell, just something. And then 8 ipsilateral, meaning same-sided dead bugs per side. Nice. The squats look great, Arisa. Nice job. That seems to be so jacked after this. Just be like.
That's what I'm going for.
Group shoulders. That's the plan. I do kind of miss being a little more bigger in the upper body, but I realize right now it doesn't serve me anything. So I'm not giving up on that, but I'm okay with a temporary shift in body, just like body shape.
Big shoulders when I was like 12 from swimming.
Yeah, huge. Yeah, it took me it took me longer to get into kind of like upper body stuff in sports, but it was never on purpose. It was always usually pretty functional, like you needed it for the sport at hand. But yeah, getting big in my body always took a lot more work. Like I'm not someone who could just put it on. I had to like work stupid hard for it. I'm not sure it's worth it, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
I'm not going for size. Let's put it that way. It's a nice effect, but it's not my main goal.
Just want to be strong.
Exactly.
I just want to be able to do what I want to do.
Yeah, I think that's the difference between me at 25 versus 36.
Right.
Yeah, Marisa gives a thumbs up. Yeah. There you go. Nice. Imagine that chair you want to sit into is a little bit lower. I know it's not actually, but yeah, there we go. You know how like they do those kids chairs, you know, like preschool chairs? Imagine sitting in one of those. Like, I feel like there's some situations where it's surprisingly necessary to be like, oh, I need to be able to sit down really, really low. Like tea time with small children. Or anyone who's been to Italy in a seaside town, their bathrooms is a hole in the ground. So functional. The push-up, you can use your knees, of course, as usual. Obviously, elevating might be a bit of a challenge. Maybe you just elevate the push-up, which is fine. Instead of moving your object across. You have a guest judge. Yeah, good girl. Oh, wow. Okay. Me bubs. I know. We tricked you. We tricked you. She says, hi, Joseph. Hi, Joseph. She's like, why are you touching me? It's cat abuse.
Oh,
She's like, you tricked me. For the record, I'm not holding her. She just doesn't know she can leave.
it's like bye.
She's pretty, but she's not smart. Okay. As Arisa finishes off her dead bugs here, we can take a break. I want to show you these movements and we can try them. And we'll talk about ways to scale these appropriately, again, because we're getting fancy and we don't have to go to the fanciest version by default. Basically, it's a bit of a core finisher, maybe a little hip flexor stuff. So if you need to adjust the volume again, you can. And so we have a V-sit liftoff. So essentially what this is a leg raise from a seated position. If you are someone who cannot sit with their legs straight on a flat surface, elevating your butt on a cookbook or just a little bit can allow you to straighten your legs. So that's kind of step one. You have to go straighten your legs seated. The second thing we're going to do, excuse me, thank you, is we're going to go ahead and lift the legs. Now, it sounds like a pretty simple thing to do. Weirdly hard. I'm gonna lean forward because it makes it easier. Actually, I can't remember which makes it easier. Hold on, think that's. You can lean forward. Yeah, forward's easier. If we're upright, I mean it's a little harder. And I can push into the ground if I need to, right? So the more forward leaning I am, chest is still up. It's a little harder, or it's a little easier. A little back, right? Right. So you're basically flexing quads to lift up the legs. Now, if we need to go one at a time, it's okay to go one at a time. Okay, one at a time is fine. Weirdly hard. The lift off itself you can traverse an object. You don't have to traverse an object. So it could be, that's in the middle. So it could be here, right? Right. The higher it is, the harder it gets. If that's too much, again, it's okay to just lift one leg at a time. Weirdly hard, okay? But it is a thing. Your side plank knee tuck. So this is movement 2. Full movement is going to be side plank. So shoulder, elbow, stack or hand, do whatever it needs to do. And then I'm on my side plank. The knee tuck, you can hold your hand overhead right here. Or just bring your knee up and knee down. The knee tuck. We're just moving and stabilizing at the same time. If you're feeling fancy, you can't see my hand here, grab your weight, put it over your head. So I'm stacking my hand over my shoulder, doing the same thing. So that's what we're doing or playing with today. Scaling options, of course, remove the weight out of your hand, of the top hand. Bend the bottom knee. So butt squeezed, but I can still do my knee tuck. Yeah, I just don't have to support as much. And of course, if the shoulder's problem, maybe we don't. Let's just try these movements first. Let's see how that goes. Let's start with the V sit lift off. And that could literally be one leg at a time. It could be two, but seated, if we have a logo, I should list that logo as you lift the leg. So whether it's one leg, two legs, again, you can push into the ground, right? Without rocking backwards. And then sort of for time, let's go ahead and do 5 to 10 reps. Sorry, apologies, put time up there. 5 to 10 reps. Keeping your legs straight. Again, if you need to raise your butt to allow for that leg straight position. Lovely. And if you have an object, Joseph, and you're lifting the feet pretty high, you can traverse your object. So get a kettlebell and bring your leg over that. So put it between your, yeah. And the higher your object, the harder it gets, but you can make that whatever you need. 5 to 10 reps of that V sit lift off, followed by, let's go 5 to 10, depending on difficulty and what you need here, of the side plank knee tucks, and that's per side. So, or per side, so bottom knee is either down, so this is a scaled version, whatever you need to do here. And then the knee tuck is tuck. Full version, right? We're in our full side plank. You might have a weight, something light. So 10 pounds, whatever, that's what I have here. And then tuck, 5 to 10, and then change. So you have a light dumbbell and you want to put that in your top hand. What that's going to do is encourage you to stack your weights, right, through the shoulders. All right, so it doesn't be heavy. Even a water bottle should do the trick here. 5 to 10 per side. Nice. I want to do each thing, right? I know both call the side plank one thing. I know it's 2 sides. 3 times total. So 2 more of those, 2 more sets. So lift offs, like I mentioned, if you want to lift your legs over something, right? The higher the object, I'm not sure I can do this well, but now, higher the object, the harder, right? You don't have to go that high. You can lay it flat, right? You get the idea. Your legs are surprisingly heavy. If you go 1 leg at a time, yeah, Arisa's like, yes. 1 leg at a time is fine. Right? I do 5 per leg. You just want to do, or just lift the legs up and down if it's not side to side. Yeah, there you go. When in doubt, you can always simplify. So if you need to remove an element, that's fine. Good. Yeah, nice job. With the side plank, yeah, that weight overhead, just a nice counterbalance. It gives you just a sense of where your hands are. So again, doesn't need a big weight, but it's nice to have. Honestly, a can of beans or water bottle is great here. Nice. This V-sit lift off might be challenging for anyone who can't touch their toes. Just a heads up. So default position's might be pretty extreme. Yeah. simplifying this V-sit lift off would be doing one leg lift at a time. So you're carrying less weight. Now, if you were a gymnast, you'd have to smile and do this. Pretend like nothing's happening from here to here. You gotta look good while doing it. Luckily, we don't have that. We don't have that privilege. We just get to suffer, which is okay. Once you've done your 3 rounds, Risa, you're on 3, if you're wondering, I believe. We can come up, take a break. We have about 5 or 6 minutes before the end of the session. So we can kind of check in, make sure everyone feels okay. A lot of new stuff today. Don't worry about remembering all this. We're just going to continue to build in as we go along. And as usual, if there's anything that, whether it's day-to-day stuff within sport, that's just causing you, I would say, irritation or like just resistance, could be looser. We can address that if you want, if you already know what to do with your foam roller, or, you know, I would say therapy tool of choice, right? That's fine, but I'm happy to help if you need a slightly different approach in terms of self-care. Otherwise, eat your protein, even if your veggies, my veggies included here. Protein, hydrate, all that good stuff. And if anything, get to try, I know it's depending on where you are, try and go for a walk. Just try and just loosen up the body. Doesn't have to be a full-on workout, although I'm guessing most of us have a workout today, if we know Meg. So maybe Maxine's the only one who gets the luxury of going for a walk. She did her workout already, so.
God.
Nice job, my friends. Again, about 5 minutes left. We'll leave the floor open. Otherwise, I'll leave the floor open also for questions. There's a lot of new stuff today, so. How are the side bendy things? I know that was a weird one.
Okay.
I like the side bendy things.
Yeah, it's like a little side crunch.
Yeah.
Without being a side crunch, because that definitely was a thing in the early 90s. I remember that being like a little
Oh yeah.
side crunching. It's like that, but less annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's one of those, it's a nice thing, especially you will have to be leaning side to side at some point, right? Both in swimming, running, biking, there's going to be some torso movement.
Yeah.
So building up some of this lateral strength is good. Hence the side planks, as well as the oblique stuff. Just a reminder, if you guys are doing foam rolling, soft tissue work, stretching, you should be able to take a full breath in through your nose and a full exhale through your mouth, right? So breath holds, not great, but not the end of the world, okay? It's a good sign that maybe you're going a little too far. And what else? I'm going to copy and paste the workout for Meg. Oh, it's fine. Technology is hard. I want to know we're 3 minutes early. Just going to put it out there. Look at us being on time.
And had our chat time as well.
I've started putting that through the planning of 8 minutes of just chit chat.
I love it.
And, you know, checking in and see how people are doing. And Joseph just sits there silently, waiting for us to stop talking.
Consistency. Anyhow, I got to go do my trainer ride.
Fair enough. I'm going to do that later, but have a good ride.
All righty.
Bye, Joseph.
Bye.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
You're welcome.
Have a good day, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, Risa.
Thank you.